Okay. What I would like to do this morning, the three of you, a little bit like last week, is to hear about this particular topic, exercise and fitness and stuff, what you do in regards to this thing, and why that kind of exercise or type of fitness or whatever. So I want to start with you, Alex. What does your life include by way of exercise and fitness?
Hello. Is that?
Yep, fine.
Hi. So I do two things. So I do CrossFit, which I aim to do 3 times a week. That is
the goal.
That's the goal.
Yep.
And I also walk. So I like bushwalking, and I'm training for the Camino, which is an 800k walk across the north of Spain. So that's why I'm doing CrossFit.
So that's the ultimate goal.
That's one of the ultimate goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why CrossFit and walking? And my subtext to that question is, did you intend to join a cult? Was that...
I am very susceptible to a cult, you can tell. I'm here, and I'm also very evangelical about CrossFit, because you probably already know that I do CrossFit, because I tell everyone about it. Look, I'm a sort of a lifelong non-exerciser, so the fact that I joined an exercise cult is kind of as surprising to me as anyone. The reason I started to exercise kind of really intentionally, one was I really wanted to do the Camino, and I can't do it now because 800k walk is really far, and I'm not in the state to walk that without, probably dying or really injuring myself. So I wanted to get fit, but also, I'm turning 45 in a few weeks, which is also very surprising. Middle age is weird and wild and kind of just comes all at once, very surprising. And perimenopause, which is also where I'm at, is really hard. And but it's also they call it a window of opportunity. So any kind of gains I can make health-wise in this period of my life will really set me up well to age, which is now something that I actually think about, which I never thought about before. So that's kind of why.
Okay.
And why CrossFit? Look, it's mad. It's great fun. I like it because it's weirdly inclusive. Everything can be scaled. My favorite Instagram videos are, there's 2. One is a nana. She's like in her late 80s and she does CrossFit. And another one is a woman who is an amputee and she does CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting. And I love both of those because I feel like if they can do it, I can do it. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Beck, what about for you? Yeah, bring the mic closer to your... Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Hello? Yeah. I do a few different types of exercise throughout the week. So I do like a weights-based workout a few times a week, which is organised through a friend. So she essentially loves the gym, loves weights, and so organises for a group of us to work out in the park together before work, which is awesome, and it's a great way for me to see my friends. I swim in summer, but the main thing I love doing exercise-wise during the week is running. I love running. I picked it up during COVID when everything was locked down. I worked in an industry that was really hit by COVID, which meant that I spent a lot of time on forced leave, and so running was a way I could kind of get out of the house, work towards something that my career felt like it was just sort of like nothing was happening. Running gave me something I could work towards and a way I could still challenge myself. And so I continue doing that. I try to do it 3 times a week. And yeah, I'm training for, at the moment I'm training for like a 10K on the Northern Beaches, which is where my parents live. But last year I ran a half marathon, which was a huge highlight for the year for me last year. And it was just great to feel like I'd sort of ticked off a bucket list item to run that distance.
So there's quite a few different types of exercise in your life. Has that always been the case? Has that always been a big part of your life?
Yeah, so as a child and a teenager, I did a lot of like netball and little athletics and stuff. As I got into like older high school, I sort of put that on pause. Other things took priority. And then in my early 20s, so that was like about 10 years ago now, I barely exercised at all. And then like about 7 or 8 years ago, I took up tennis, like social tennis, with Lachlan, which was really fun. And now I've gotten a lot more into exercise because I've just sort of experienced a lot of the benefits for it, and it really enhances my life. So that's why I do a lot of it now.
So much so, I assume if you don't exercise, you feel that loss? Yeah. Okay, interesting. Sure. Graeme, tell me about you.
And well, I currently do a weights-based exercise 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday I have off. It's just part of my routine. Throughout my life, I suppose I've had a bit of a on-again, off-again relationship with exercise. I started off in my late teens, getting into exercise. I used to play judo. I used to go to the gym more for vanity reasons, I would say. More for vanity and more just to get the inspiration of seeing everyone else working at the gym and seeing all their bodies and thinking, oh, wow. That was what got me into it. But because that was my motivation, it waned here and there. So the moment things started getting busy at work or in my personal life, stepped right back and had no exercise whatsoever. So it was up again, on, off all the time. And so those periods were full-on workout and full-on exercise, and then periods where life just got in the way. The last period of life getting in the way, I had it would have been close to about 7, 8 years of no exercise. And I actually ballooned up to about 96 kilos. And I thought, and it was beginning to impact my health. And I was really becoming very unwell from a health perspective. And I decided, okay, I need to do something about this. So I thought, okay, let's get back to exercise. I did. And what I was finding, not only did it help my health, but it also got me going in the morning. It gave me some focus. It got my blood pumping so I could actually focus on work, and I was actually becoming more productive. And I thought, okay, this is a reason to do exercise, not to look at all the bodies in the gym, but to, and not for vanity reasons, because I'm never going to have the Brad Pitt body I discovered. And I thought, okay, I can do this for my own personal health and to actually get going in the morning and to be more productive.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. And then I started to realize that in doing that, I'm actually caring for my body. I'm actually making myself or helping myself become the best version of me I possibly can. And that's now what drives me to continue the exercise. And I've been doing that 5-day workout for about 10 years now.
Right. So for all three of you, health and wellness is a kind of a key motivator or driver for your exercise. Are there other motivators that you think play a part in the way that you engage in fitness?
Yes.
Are there? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to talk about it, but are there other things that kind of drive you, do you think?
Other than health.
Other than a desire to be more healthy?
Do you want to?
Sure. Yeah, I think for me a large one is like the social element of it.
Okay.
I exercise with friends, but I also exercise with my husband Lachlan. We both love running, and it's sort of part of a routine. Like we go for a run, and then we have coffee afterwards and sort of chat about the run and compare our various runs, like our various running stats, and kind of geek out about that. But it's also
Different couples date in different ways. It's fine.
It's got a new addition. It's got a new thing we've been doing.
Cool. Yeah.
But it's also been quite good. Like even yesterday, we reached out. Like we ran for the first time with like a new friend that moved into the area, and it was like a great way to connect with him and stuff like that. So I think
That's
it's a great way to connect with people and to have a shared interest in that way.
Yeah.
So I find that really beneficial.
So
too.
the social element.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would also say one of the things that really surprised me about CrossFit is that it is really a community. So after every workout, every person high fives every other person, it's like, yes, it's culty, I know. But it really is, like, so the more I say this, the more I'm going to convince myself it is a cult. But, like, you do a personal best and everyone is like, you know, liking it on the app, or they're like, you know, these really big, muscly bodybuilding guys, you know, come up to me and be like, oh, you worked out really hard today, like that was really awesome. And I've just never experienced that in my life.
Okay.
And that's just, it's also like, I don't expect that. So CrossFit has really been, I think I see people differently, because I think I probably made a lot of assumptions about who those people were who, you know, really cared about bodybuilding and building muscle. Yeah, I probably had some thoughts about people that do that, and CrossFit has really kind of forced me to, reckon with those, because those people that I might have judged are now the people who like completely, pump me up. And
That's really nice.
you know, I accidentally participated in the CrossFit Games last year, and
What, you tripped into the games? What did you?
like I just showed up for my Saturday morning regular workout, and then I didn't realize that it was just the CrossFit Games were on that day, and so you couldn't do a workout. You could only do the game. Like, you could only compete in the games.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, well, I had committed to 3 sessions this week, so I guess this is it. And then, but you know, like, everyone is standing around you, literally like clapping you on and cheering for you as you're, you know, doing your 20th burpee and wanting to die. And I just, like, that's a kind of a beautiful thing, and it really changed my relationship with
Sure.
those people. Yeah.
So, Alex, your CrossFit exercise happens at an external gym. You go to a gym, you do the thing, and you leave. Beck, your running is out in wherever, on the streets or whatever, and your gym weights training is at home, right?
I have my own gym set up at home, mainly to focus, so I can focus on the exercise and not be distracted.
Fair. Yeah. Well, that was my question. What are the benefits of where you do your exercise for each of you, do you think? So for you, it's about the focus on the actual exercise. And you also, as I understand, you wake up fairly early in the morning to get it done, yeah?
Yeah, I'm a really crazy person. I'm a morning person, so I'm normally up somewhere between 3:30 4 in the morning.
Audible gasp.
So
Still night.
I'm a bit of a crazy person like that, but that's part of my routine, and it works for me. It gets my day going. But yeah, so that's what I do.
Okay. For Beck, for you, how does being outside affect the exercise you do?
Yeah, I really like working out outside. For one thing, it gets me out of the house, away from screens, which is a huge component of
Your work, right?
my work.
Yeah.
And so I love that. It's been really nice, actually. I started running a lot more when we moved to Croydon, which is where we're still living, and it's just great to be able to explore my local area. I'm really familiar with where I live because I run the streets really frequently. And I just love being outside. It makes me feel so nice just to like we live in a really nice part of the world. It's so lovely to be running along like bodies of water, like at the bay or just around. Like, it's really nice just to be outside and out of the house. And yeah, I find the outdoor element of it really nice for me.
Okay. And Alex, for you, going to a specific gym, doing the thing and leaving, what does that do for you?
Nothing.
Okay. So for you, it doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be inside, it could be outside. It doesn't really make a difference.
Okay.
I have to go there. That's where it is.
Yeah.
So.
Is there benefit for you in going, a little bit like going to a library to study, like going to a place where exercise happens, it's like a mindset thing?
Yeah, because it happens there, as opposed to if I did it at home, it wouldn't happen.
Okay,
I would
right.
I wouldn't do it. So, yeah, for me, the biggest challenge is I just have to get there. Once I get there, I'm not worried about what I do, because my word for exercise is just plod. All I have to do is plod along and just do it. But the real hurdle is actually getting there. So, you know, that can be a hard thing, the fact that it's not at home, but also it means that if I do actually, when I get there, I will do the work.
Okay. Certainly not to diminish your work, Beck, but I think particularly Graeme and Alex, your vocational work is quite stressful. There's quite a high element of stress there. What is exercise? What's the interaction of exercise with your sense of stress?
Yeah, that's a good point. It really does give me a chance to, I suppose, just it it does help me to work out some of that stress and to really push and pump through. And it's amazing how much the endorphins and the adrenaline going through your body actually does reduce stress and help you to manage stress a bit more. And so with the work, I know I'm going to have a big day, and so I start off with that level of I've got all these endorphins, I've got all this feel good going through my body, I'm more focused, so I can handle a lot more of what comes my way. And yeah, it does actually help me quite a lot. I know if I'm not going to have an exercise that day for whatever reason, I know that day is going to be pretty awful.
Right, interesting.
I just know if I don't do my exercise, I don't do the next part of my self-care routine as diligently, and I just know I'm going to have a bad day, and I do. So it sets me up for a really good day.
Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I think, I've struggled with depression for a long time, and anxiety, and so exercise is really probably like one of the biggest strategies I have to manage that. And I think the industry that I work in, in social work and community work, I think there's a real risk for burnout and for vicarious trauma. And I think when I don't exercise and when I'm not in a good headspace, I have a tendency to think, to feel very isolated and separate from the community that I work in, and that I might start to think, that I have to fix everything, or I don't sort of see the big picture. So when I'm healthy and strong and I'm in a good, headspace, I can show up to the work that I do, and I can see the challenges that I'm trying to work with people in my community, are part of bigger systemic issues. And so exercise is really important for me to be in that good headspace, because when I'm not, I get really down, I get really despondent about the state of the world, I get really despondent about the systems that harm and marginalize people I care about, and I also then, take it on as if like this is my problem to solve.
You're right, it's right there, yeah.
Yeah, and I have, I can start to get, not great boundaries, and I feel really isolated and disconnected. And that's just a recipe for burnout and vicarious trauma in that sector. So, yeah.
So then when you exercise, does it kind of change the lens? Like, what are there ways that exercise, can you articulate ways that exercise helps with that risk?
Exercise helps with my mood.
Okay.
Yeah, like it really helps with my mood. That's probably one of the biggest benefits. I'm happier, I'm more positive, I'm connected. I see the world for what it is, which means I don't just see the shit.
Bad stuff.
Yeah, I don't just see all of the shit. And like at Wayside, there are a lot of people who are really struggling, and it can be really easy. Like every single person who comes there has been essentially screwed over by the system, and it's really easy to get sad about it sometimes. But if I'm in a good headspace, then I don't see that. I don't see just that. I see the joy and the love and the community and sense of belonging, and I see people turning their lives around, and I see people making progress and people being kind to one another. But if I'm not in a good headspace, I can't do that, and exercise really, really helps to boost that mood. And
Love that. Yeah. I'm going to start with you, Beck, with this question, which may feel a bit tricky. Are there ways that exercise and fitness interact with your sense of discipleship?
I think kind of to what Alex was speaking about, I think it helps my overall mood. It helps my mood, but also, I guess, kind of crucially, my sleep as well, which then also affects how I go about my day, and it allows me to show up more fully in my faith. It forms also a part, I love a routine, and it forms part of my routine that also includes things like going to small group, going to church, and by showing up every other day to go for a run, it shows me that I should also show up for other elements of my life, if that makes sense.
That. Yeah.
Which also includes, like discipleship and my church community, and like being here on Sundays and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of like has that effect on my overall life and my discipleship.
Graeme or Alex?
You know what, similarly, exercise for me has a bit of a cascading effect. For me, when I started exercising, it taught me how to listen to my body.
Good.
Because you've got to actually, if you don't listening to your body, you end up doing yourself some major injuries. So for me, that was a very, very important thing, to learn how to listen to my body, because I have a particular medical condition, which means I don't often feel whenever anything's going wrong with my body. So it taught me to listen to my body.
Good.
That then taught me to listen to my emotions, listen to how I'm feeling. So like Alex was saying, it begins to help with my mood. And I'm able to realize, hey, I'm not feeling good today. Why aren't I feeling good? What's going on? So I can address that. So it's taught me how to listen to my body. And in doing that, it helps me to connect to my clients a lot more. I find that because I'm able to listen to myself, I'm able to connect to my clients much better. And that is, I think, where the discipleship comes into it. I'm doing the best I can for my body. I'm treating my body as though it is a temple, and I'm looking after my body. But also, in connecting with my clients, I think that's where the big part of my discipleship, big part of my work, big part of my faith lies, where I'm helping people that, for those of you who know the kind of work I do, I'm helping people who generally no one else would even talk to. And it really enables me to really get through and help those people, and I can see powerful differences, and to me that's fulfilling the gospel. And so it's this cascade effect.
For those who don't know, can you give a very high-level general summary of the work you do?
Yep. I'm a psychologist working mainly in the forensic field, and the vast majority of my clients are sex offenders. So I'm working with clients to try and help them understand why they did what they did and not do it again. And that's basically what I do.
Thanks. Anything you want to add, Alex, about the relationship with your discipleship?
I think one of the biggest things that doing exercise, and particularly CrossFit, has helped me do is develop a sense of respect and, dare I say, even love for my own body, which I've really struggled with my whole life. So when I'll give you an example. So when I used to do exercise when I was, like, say, a teenager or a young adult, if I would, like, say, go running, I would think that I could encourage myself by kind of shit-talking myself, and that would motivate me to keep going.
Totally.
And anyone in psychology would know that that doesn't work. So now, when I'm, say, like on the bike or doing something at CrossFit, I use it as an opportunity to do the opposite. So I'm like my biggest cheerleader, and I say things to myself like, you know, you are whole, or nothing you can do can make God love you anymore, and you are, like, you're doing it, and, you know, you've got this. And for me, that's kind of, I imagine that is God talking to me.
I love that, yeah.
And that's been really, you know, it seemed weird and a bit dorky at first, but then I kind of really enjoy it, and I like having that dialogue. Because for me, discipleship, you know, like, I'm in the community sector, so as an educator and a social worker, I feel like I don't struggle to show up for my community, but I struggle to show up for myself. And how can I be a disciple of God, Jesus, if I can't love myself, which, you know, I am made of God, I'm made of stars, and that's the same material. So how can I love God if I can't love me? And that's what exercise helps me do.
Thank you. My last question for each of you is for people in this community who may be thinking about creating new practices, perhaps in exercise or fitness. Any advice or words of wisdom? Start with Graeme.
Just start small. Just start small, I think where people go wrong with exercise routines is they try and jump in and think, I'm going to do something great and fantastic.
Every day, let's go.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Just start small. Take the dog for a walk twice a day instead of once a day or
Yeah.
something like that. Just very, very small and build up. And you'll be amazed at how much it actually does build up. Just start small and achievable and, just do it.
Thank you. Beck.
Yeah, I would say also to find, see whether you have a friend or a loved one that's already doing a bit of exercise that you can sort of participate in, or even if it's just going for a walk with a friend. I find the being able to connect through exercise is really beneficial. It also, if you're looking for a bit of accountability, if you're looking to have a bit more of a routine, I find exercising of someone else or in a group can be really beneficial, and it's motivating, and it's can be really community building as well. So if you're able to join a community or even just grab a pal and go for a walk, I find that has really helped me. So it might also help you.
And Alex, this is the time for you to evangelize, by the way.
Actually, we do have a summer special on.
I immediately regret this decision. Carry on.
No, it's in Cogra, or Carlton now, so it's probably way too far for most people. Like I said, my word is plod. Just find something that you like doing. Find a way to move your body that feels enjoyable. I was surprised that it was CrossFit, but I tried flamenco, I tried running, I tried so many things, and I just tried them, and then I was like, actually this doesn't work, and so then I would try something else until I found what it was that I liked that I could actually do and sustain. And that's kind of, I couldn't do this if I didn't like it. I couldn't sustain it. Find what you like, and also you don't need all of the gear to do exercise. I used to think that I couldn't start unless I had the right trainers or the right lycra or whatever. But you don't. You can just do exercise and move your body in whatever you're wearing, and you don't need all of the things, and it doesn't need to be perfect. It can just be really normal and average, and you just show up and do it, and you see progress. You really do. It takes you by surprise how far you've come.
Would you give them a round of applause?